Welcome to episode 2 of the hot new podcast RPM Weekly. Tonight we're going to take a look back to St. Louis on this past weekend. On Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we'll highlight all the action from the 3rd annual VP Racing Fuels Gateway Dirt Nationals with interviews from all your winners. We'll also take a look at those famous driver intros, who did what when they came out of that tunnel while we were in St. Louis. We're also going to take a peek at the silly season that's been going on in the dirt late model world. We'll see who's going to go drive for who, what seats are filled, and what ones are still available, and who we think might be going to those seats. We'll also take a look at the PRI trade show as it's coming up this weekend in downtown Indianapolis on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Got those new World Outlaw and Hell Tour schedules coming out, and that new Mars Series schedule coming out, as well as the Southern Nationals. Also, we'll hear from Chris Tilley, the director of the Mars Series. He's going to join us on the phone, as well as Scott Davies, the new race director over at the Midwest Street Stock Championship. So stay tuned. We got an action-packed show, but first, here's a word from our sponsors. Market, connect, sell. The business of racing starts here. It's the 2018 PRI Trade Show in downtown Indianapolis, December 6th through the 8th. With over 1,100 vendor booths, you're sure to find what you're looking for in the racing industry. 2019 begins with the Performance Racing Industry Show, downtown Indianapolis, December 6th through the 8th. Be sure to visit performanceracing.com for all your show details. Also, be sure to download the PRI Show mobile app and start planning your show today. Find show floor maps, exhibits, and seminars that you want to attend. Once again, the PRI Trade Show 2018 in downtown Indianapolis. Welcome back to RPM Weekly, and now we're going to take a recap view of this past weekend's Gateway Dirt Nationals down in St. Louis. Things got kicked off on Thursday night as we had qualifying in the late model division, and it looked just like it finished last year with Tanner English and Bobby Pierce fastest in both sessions of qualifying. Tanner English overall fast time on Thursday night, and we got to see some midget action for the very first time. We've seen some people like Sammy Swindell, Logan Seavey, Tanner Thorson, T-Mac, Sunshine Tyler Courtney, Rico Abreu, and Christopher Bell all got some laps in for the very first time underneath the dome in St. Louis. And then we were followed up by we had the Race of Champions for the late models. 13 drivers participated in that, drivers who were past series champions or crown jewel winners, or they had won a race under the dome in the last couple seasons, were all invited. So 13 cars shot out for 20 laps. Paid $5,000 to win, and on the front row we had Rusty Schlink and Jonathan Davenport, and Rusty Schlink went on to win that race. He led all 20 laps and picked up the big $5,000 payday in the CJ Rayburn House car. Rusty Schlink, the 2018 UMP National Late Model Points Champion. And after the races, we caught up with him and your second place finisher, Jonathan Davenport. Listen to what they had to say.
Awesome. A lot better than it was earlier, I can tell you that. I didn't. I knew we had a good shot at this deal. I knew we had a good car, and I knew that, but there's 100 other good cars here. So it definitely didn't plan on going out and winning that thing. But drawing that one was huge, man. This early in this deal with the track holding that much moisture, it's a lot of luck involved. So I knew if I told the guys they didn't think I could win it if I didn't draw the pole. I told them I thought we could win it if I had a top 5. If we'd have drew in the top 5 somewhere, I think we'd have had a shot at it. We were pretty good, but any farther back than that, man, it's just it's too much to overcome on that little track. So.
Yeah, I tell you what, national title this year. You've picked up some wins on small bull rings just like this earlier this year. Did that give you any kind of advantage, you think, tonight, getting up on the wheel on those small bull rings?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the schedule we run all year is way more beneficial to me when we come to this place than some of these touring guys. We run Belleville a lot. We run Macon a lot. I mean, even Fairbury and some of the other little tracks like that. I mean, you can kind of take some of what you learn there and add it here. So, yeah, it definitely plays to our advantage. A lot of us Midwest guys that get to run these small bull rings, and we don't run the touring stuff on the big 5/8s. You know what I mean? It's to be able to come in here and beat these guys. I don't care what size track we're on. I don't care if we're racing cars around in the dirt here like my boys are over there, man. It's to beat these guys at anything is awesome.
It was all right. We're definitely starting off a little better than we was last year. Got some good notes on the car now coming back to second year, and feels pretty good. We got a good draw, so that helped us out in that feature definitely. I don't know if the racetrack was really too racy to have a lot of passing, but I was trying to watch as much of the race as I could up on the big screens. But all in all, we had a good night, didn't tear anything up, and we get ready for tomorrow.
Alrighty, you heard from your two winners from Thursday night, and now we're going to go into some Friday night action from the Gateway Dirt Nationals. It was an action-packed day, 32 races on tap on Friday. It was quite a long day, but lots of racing for us to review here. We started out in the pit area, and we caught up with a driver from out east, just a youngster who just picked up a big $20,000 payday on the crate tour, late models. Made his super debut at the Dome. We caught up with, they call him Thug Nasty, Logan Roberson.
Kind of almost a super debut here. Looked really good out there in hot laps and qualifying yesterday.
Oh, yes, sir. We had a good piece and a good car, and we set ourselves up for hopefully a successful weekend.
Yeah, I tell you what, it was kind of bummed last week. You made that announcement you weren't going to come, and then all of a sudden you decided to come and run your dad's car this weekend.
Yeah, luckily his tour owners, Mike and Michelle Smiley, stepped up and said, come get the whole car, motor, everything, and just go have fun and race. And I was like, man, it's hard to give up that much of money and equipment just to say, hey, come get my car and go race it at the Dome. And I was, man, blessed.
Yeah, I tell you what, you picked up a big win a few weeks ago, $20,000 out there in the crate show. How was that to take home a big payday like that?
Oh, man, it turned my racing around, definitely. Made me, I know my equipment a little bit now with the money, and just, I don't know, it was awesome. Me and my dad, we work our hearts out for this, and to get some relief to win a race like that, it means a lot. It really does.
All right, so first time at your Dome, you went out there for hot laps. What do you think about this place?
Oh, it's pretty fun. It's short, but I think it's going to be racy in the feature, and we're going to hopefully have a good time.
We also caught up with a couple of midget drivers. We caught up with Tim McCready. He talked about running double duty on the weekend. Here's what Tim had to say about racing under the Dome.
So you won the World 100 this year. You've won a lot of big events, won the Tilley Bowl. What's it like, though, here at the Gateway?
It's cool. I mean, it's unique. I've done indoor racing at Atlantic City with TQ midgets, and I've obviously been to the Tilley Bowl several years. And so each one of them is a little more unique with how you got to get to the track or how you got to do things. And it's kind of cool just because the stadium, the vastness of the stadium, and then how the seats all look. And it's neat. We'll see how the racing is a little needs to be a little helped. Hopefully the track will get a little more wider for us to race on. But as all in all, so far so good.
Yeah. So you've won the World 100. You've won the Tilley Bowl. What would it mean to win here at Gateway this weekend?
Oh, it'd just be another notch. It's the beauty of racing these big shows is when you get a chance to win them, you got to try to take advantage. And the money's good. $30,000 for late models, big money. So for me to get a whole lot, I'll help right before the winter, and maybe help a little towards getting some payroll for next season, some things ironed out to make our team better.
We also caught up with a couple modified standouts. We caught up with the driver from Texas, Phil Dixon, and also Mike McKinney. Listen to what they had to say about racing underneath the Dome in St. Louis.
Oh, it's going good. We timed in decent. Had my car in race trim, and we timed okay. Hit a tire on drop of the green. Ended up finishing third, but we're still in the A tonight, and we got a better car than where we start, so it ought to be exciting.
I tell you what, what's it like? I mean, you live in Texas, make the trek all the way up here to race in the Dome. There's nothing like it, is there?
Well, this place makes 16-hour drive worth it, that's for sure. You know, the cameras, you guys do a great job of coverage, but they just don't capture the electricity that's just in the air here all the time. This place is, you just got to be here.
All right, so you had kind of the dream season this year, almost pulled off the Summer Nationals, finished second. What would it mean to win here at Gateway?
Yeah, it'd be huge. The coolest deal about this thing is, I mean, anyone in this building could win. So, you know, it's the only show in town right now. Every eye in the country is on this deal. So if you can win, you know, people are going to know about it, and I'd love to be that guy for sure.
One driver who was not able to participate in practice on Thursday night was Kyle Larson. He flew in, and on Friday night he went out. First time ever seeing the track, he went out there and laid down quick time in his 2 laps. Listen to what Kyle Larson had to tell us after setting fast time for the Gateway Dirt Nationals.
Yeah, it was my first laps on. I wasn't able to be here for hot laps yesterday, so it was cool. Just kind of like a circle, really. You know, try and just, in a way, you know, kind of hit apexes and stuff. You don't really think about apexing a corner, I don't think, when you run these, but here the infield's so short that you kind of have to work an apex into it. So it was interesting. I hope it, which I'm sure it will, get slick, and then we can start moving up the track later.
All right, so you ran in the Tilley Bowl, you ran in the biggest races in the country. What's so unique about this event?
Yeah, I mean, so far it's really cool. You know, just being in a big stadium like this, it feels special, and you're going to sit in the stands and you walk through the concourse and stuff. It feels, you know, big. So I'm just looking forward to the rest of the couple days here and seeing, you know, all the fans roll in and pack this place.
After a grueling long day of action underneath the dome, it was finally time for some prelim race action. After we had all of our heat race and last chance races, we started out with 2 modified prelims. The first one went to the driver who is last year's American Modified Series champion, Josh Harris, in the number 22. He picked up the first prelim win in the modified division. And the second prelim went to the number 36 hometown driver of Kenny Wallace. Kenny Wallace just recently announced that he was going to retire from Fox and go full-time dirt racing, and he picked up the big feature win on Saturday or Friday night under the dome. Listen to what Kenny had to tell us after the races about his big win.
I'm doing better now that I'm on the big show. You know, this is the original big show right here. So when you're interviewing me, I know that's good.
All right, Kenny, so tell you what, you told Fox you were going to quit this year for the TV. You're going to go full-time dirt racing.
Yep.
You start out winning in St. Louis.
It means the world to me. You know, I'm so humbled because when I race against the greatest racers in the United States, like Mike Harrison, our 6-time champion, Nick Hoffman, and Tyler Nicely, and Michael Long, and, you know, there's just so many great race car drivers, and I don't know what's wrong with me, but sometimes I always, you know, even at 55 years old, I'm like, God, you know, I hope I belong. You know, I don't have any doubt, but, you know, when you win a race like this, it's so cool, right? You know, it's really big. So I'm just happy that I belong.
All right, Kenny, I tell you what, you really had that car dialed in. You was able to kind of just run away from him, just nice and smooth all the way around.
Things turned around in the middle of the year. So for the last 11, 12 years that I've been running dirt, I have paid, you know, Billy Smith. He was my crew chief for 9 years, and Joey Walsh for a couple years. And I decided to, you know, Billy went to being a school teacher. I told Billy, I said, Billy, I love you. Go find a real job. Get some with a 401k. He's still my best friend, and he's here. And then Joey, he went and done something else. So the key is I'm back to the way I was in 1984. I do everything myself now. I mean, I'm a fabricator, right? And then I became a race car driver. So, you know, myself, Bobby Labonte, Nick Hoffman, and I'm wore out. I mean, I'm 55, and I'm building that race car. I'm working on. David Strummy builds the car, but we set the chassis up. David gives me a good car. But myself and Joe Bilk, his name's Buddha. Me and Buddha, we doing it all ourselves. So that means I'm really in tune with the chassis. Everything is 16th inch here and there. And I think that I'm just in tune with the car.
I tell you what, I know it meant a lot to you. You had all your family here. Your wife was up in the stands. St. Louis, your Cardinals, everything else. This is what it's all about.
Yeah, it's crazy that I ran 905 NASCAR races. I won 9 Xfinity races. They call them Busch back there, but same thing, just different sponsor. You know, won so many big races in NASCAR, but in a weird way, this is everything to me. This is bigger than that. You always dream. Here, that's my high school. Come here, Lauren. That's my high school friend. I mean, this is my high school friend. He didn't go down south with me, and he's tired right now. That's Lauren Wright. We grew up as children together. How long was I
stayed home and kept Arnold open until he was ready to come back.
Yeah, so I mean, my high school
they were
buddy.
ready to close it down when he left, and then I said, no, we're going to leave it open because Kenny might be back. And here he is.
So it's like Ricky Craven going to Loudon, New Hampshire and winning, right? So, yeah, that's how big it is.
After the modified action, the midgets got their time for a couple prelims out on the track, and the first one went to last weekend's Turkey Night winner, Christopher Bell. He picked up the big win, winning the first ever midget feature underneath the dome. This is what Christopher had to tell us about his big win.
It's been really fun. The midgets, it got pretty rough last night, but we were able to move around. It got wide. The top was a little bit smoother, so I was able to move up, and hopefully it was good racing. I think we're in for a hell of a show tonight.
All right, so last weekend you won the Turkey Night. You've two-time winner at the Chili Bowl. What would it mean to win here at Gateway?
I mean, I'm the first, right? So, yeah, it just be really special.
All righty, so the atmosphere here, is it anything like the Chili Bowl, or does it have its own little feel here?
Yeah, you can't really relate them just because they're so different. But yeah, it's very, very unique, that's for sure.
Midget prelim number 2 did not disappoint as Kyle Larson and Sunshine Tyler Courtney put on quite the battle, but it was Sunshine Tyler Courtney coming out on top as he won prelim feature number 2 on Friday night under the dome. Listen to what Tyler Courtney had to tell us after his big win.
Good, man. It's awesome to be here. A lot of people here. This is cool. It's probably one of our bigger events that we come to when you go off a crowd size. So this is, I think 2/3 of them are late model fans, but hopefully after tonight and last night we can turn them into midget fans.
All right, so you've ran, of course, all the big midget shows. What's so unique about this place compared to other places you've been?
Like anytime you go indoor, it's going to be unique because it's going to be a man-made track and like a short one at that. So, and you never know kind of what you're going to get with the track surface because they don't really know either. They're just kind of going with what they got. And last night it was a little choppy, but I think it added enough character that it made the racing really good. So, this place is cool. It's a different shape than any other indoor track we go to. Like Tulsa is really round, and even DeCoin's a pretty round racetrack. It's just a little shorter than here, I think. And this place got long straightaways, tight corners. So you really hustle it down in the corner, and then you got to drag race the other guy down the next straightaway. So it's cool. This is like I said, man, it's a huge building. I told Cody when we got in here, I didn't know this place was that big from looking at pictures from years past. But it's amazing that you got this many big rigs down in here.
And last but not least, on Friday night was a couple of late model prelim actions. And the first one went to the Rocket Shep, Brandon Shepard, the 2017 World Outlaw Late Model Series champion. And we caught up with him after his big win to hear what he had to say about winning under the dome.
Going really good so far. We've had a great weekend so far. The car's been really good. Track's been decent. It's been a little bit rough, but they've been working hard on it. And all in all, it's been a fun weekend, and hopefully we can just get a good redraw. That's going to be key tonight, is getting a good redraw, and then just see what we can do with it.
All right, so you picked up the win last night in the family rocket car. What would it mean to put this in victory lane for them tonight?
It would just be great for my grandpa. This deal's, I love racing and he loves racing. My dad still races every once in a while. He loves racing too, and I like to make them proud. That's my goal, is to make Dad and Grandpa proud, and they know I work hard at it, and I think they're proud of me. So as long as we can have a little bit of fun and run up front, I think we'll be good.
And then in the final race on Friday night under the dome, we seen Bobby Pierce starting on the second row. He took the race lead and went on to win prelim number 2, pick up the $5,000 victory. And when the races was over, we caught up with Bobby to see what he had to say about winning again underneath the dome.
Can't ask for much more right now. The only thing I could probably ask for is that we try to get the midget in the show and the modified in the show tomorrow. But heck, and draw a good number for the late model. Definitely want to start up front. But if the track was how it was there, I think we can get to the front probably no matter where we start. I know it was rough out there and all that, but the top was actually a really fast lane, and it could keep up with the bottom. So it was unfortunate Bab got in the fence, because I think me and him were going to have a heck of a battle, and it would have been really fun. But either way, it was a lot of fun. I was fortunate that the car held on there for the last few laps. I just got to give a huge thanks to everybody. My dad, Corey from Advanced Suspension, Rhino and Cole helping us this weekend, and everybody selling shirts up there. My mom and my girlfriend, Uncle Will, Aunt Amanda, and Billy and Josh, and got to give a huge thanks to VP and Cody Summer and all the work they do for this event. It's the most unique thing we have, so it's definitely cool, and I think it's growing this year, so hopefully it keeps going. And got to give a huge thanks to all my sponsors. Some new ones I got this year, First Spear and Digital Copy Systems. Got Ted Brown got back on the car, and All Gear Incorporated, Hoker Trucking, Mesquite Valley Transportation, Premier Waste Services. Man, I know I'm forgetting a lot of them. Just huge thanks to all of them. Burgers Marina, Carnegie Towing, Advanced Suspension, Pro Power Motors, and this thing's pretty good. Hopefully we can keep it going.
I tell you what, you've had a lot of luck. Places similar to this, Belle Claire and Macon, and here you just got a knack for these little bull rings.
Yeah, I grew up racing on them, and it's paying off right now.
Friday night was action-packed at the Dome, 32 races. It was after midnight when we got finished, but the stage was set for a big Saturday. And we're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we're going to highlight what all went on Saturday, including those driver intros. We'll talk a little bit about the surprises that we've seen during those driver introductions. But let's take a break, and we'll come right back with RPM Weekly.
Welcome, race fans! I'm DRTOFF, but my friends call me Dirt Off because I'm formulated with DRT, Dirt Repellent Technology, which stops mud and stuff from sticking to me. Spray me on anything that you would like to stop dirt and mud from clinging to, and I'll make your cleanup so much easier. And we all know how hard it can be to get mud and gunk off. Spray me on all your racing parts, dirt cars, ATVs, motorcycles, mud trucks, even pulling tractors. Plus, you will love the way your pit area smells because of my fresh berry scent. You want to know where to find me? Just go to the DRTOFF Facebook page or your local Daytona 1 dealer. But if you're in a hurry, you can reach me at 270-213-0235.
The Dirt Disciples for Christ mission is to reach out to America's youth with God's love and guidance. The youth will learn about Jesus Christ, how he died on the cross and rose again to give us eternal life. Here at Dirt Disciples for Christ, we focus on teaching the youth about Christ, while at the same time allowing them to be part of something larger than themselves, teaching responsibility, commitment, courage, confidence, determination, and teamwork. The lessons learned here can be applied to their everyday lives. From the joys of accomplishment and success to the disappointments of failure and setbacks of both life and racing, we teach that God will see us through all our trials and tribulation on and off the track. All of this is done by engaging them in building, maintaining, and crewing of a super late model dirt car. We hope you decide to join us as we are changing America's youth for Christ one lap at a time.
It's here, the new and hottest growing media outlet in the Midwest, Racing Performance Media. With the best race reporters in the country, RPM wants to be your source for all your dirt racing updates. With live social media updates, pictures and interviews from the biggest races in the country, to in-depth results and race recaps on our website, RPM is your one-stop shop to satisfy your dirt racing cravings.
Welcome back to RPM Weekly as we are recapping everything from the Gateway Dirt Nationals this past weekend in St. Louis, and now we're going to look at results from Saturday night. as we had some last chance qualifiers to lock in those last few spots of the fields for the late models, midgets, and the modifieds. And then we had the great opening ceremonies. We shut all the lights off in the dome. We had God Bless America. Rusty Shields sang an awesome rendition of the national anthem, and then we were ready for those driver interviews for the late models. Did not disappoint. The first one to come out of the tunnel was Scott Bloomquist, and what a surprise as he had Rico Abreu up on his shoulders, and we got quite the reaction from the crowd as the crowd cheered as he came out. We seen Jonathan Davenport with his signature stand that he does in Victory Lane with the steering wheel in his hand. We saw Mike Spatola come out with the Falls Faithful on his billboard, and Bob Gardner with a tribute to Jason Welshin. And then the steal of the night, though, Josh Welshin comes out. Last year it was the Scott Who banner. This year it was no provisional needed. The crowd uproared when we seen this. And then Bobby Pierce and his Pierce Posse came out in their sunglasses and did a little flossing and a little dancing for us. So some great driver interviews by the late model division. And then we started the 40-lap main event. $30,000 on the line. Bobby Pierce started on the pole after drawing the 1 in the redraw. Don O'Neill on the outside pole. And all 40 laps was led by the smooth operator, Bobby Pierce. The track got a little choppy, but Pierce was able to hold on, drive away from the field, and for the second year in a row, Bobby Pierce picked up the $30,000 payday under the dome in St. Louis. And after the races, we caught up with Bobby to hear what he had to say about going back-to-back in the Gateway Dirt Nationals.
It's going great. It hasn't really sunk in yet that we're back-to-back champions of this race. It's crazy. I was up there watching the midget race and the mod race, and they put on a heck of a show, and it's a lot of fun to watch. I can't wait to come back next year. It's a lot of fun here.
Yeah, I tell you what, it was kind of a little rough out there, but you got kind of lucky with the redraw there. Was able to start on the front row. That had to help a lot. That had to help out a lot.
Yeah, that redraw is definitely key. I think I might have been able to get it done no matter if I started even 8th, because the car was really good, and as long as I hit those holes just perfect, I rocket shipped off the corners, and but drawing a 1 definitely helps me out. I didn't have to abuse my equipment, and I don't think the top was there as much as it was in the modified race there. Would have been nice to race on a track that was like it was now, at the end of the races, for all the consies and all that. They just gotta, I think, not water it quite as much. Figure out a way for it to stay a little smoother or get slicker faster on the bottom so the top comes in better.
All right, I know you had a lot of sponsors here. They were pretty pumped up. How much does it mean to win in front of them?
Oh yeah, it's so cool. One of my new sponsors, First Spear, they're 30 minutes from here, and all my other sponsors, I got some new ones: Leica Tree Service, DCS, which is Digital Copy Systems. Ted Brown's Quality Paint and Body Shop is back on board with us this year. Then all my other ones: All Ganger Incorporated, Hoker Trucking, Premier Waste, Mesilla Valley Transportation, Carnegie Towing, Burgos Marina, Advanced Suspension, Pro Power Engines, all of them. Just can't thank them all enough, and all my crew guys, and my dad giving me the sticks up there. I could see him. I knew when I hit my marks perfect, his sticks would get a little bit wider, and I knew my lead grew a little bit more, and that felt really good.
All right, pretty cool driver intro. Brought a bunch of kids out in sunglasses. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was, and that was a little different than what my idea was going to be. That was my mom's idea, and it was really cool. I'm sure all those kids loved it, and I really thought it was pretty funny. We were all back there. I was telling them what they could do. They could dab, they could floss, do all sorts of other dance moves, whatever they wanted to do. And when a lot of them got out there, they all kind of froze. And I was trying to convince them to do stuff, but that was funny.
After a little track prep, it was time for the midgets. They were going to go 30 laps for $10,000 win, but before that, we had some driver intros, and we seen the midget drivers come through the tunnel. We saw some Chris Wyndham, Rico Abreu, Kyle Larson, Tyler Courtney, Christopher Bell, some of the biggest names in midget racing, all walk through that smoke-filled tunnel. And the action on the track was quite entertaining as well, as we seen Tyler Courtney and the number 21 of Christopher Bell, put on a show out front battling. Tyler Courtney got into the fence and ruined his night, but then it was Kyle Larson and Rico Abreu who was challenging Christopher Bell there at the end. Kyle Larson clipped a tire trying to do a slide job there towards the end, which took him out of the event, and it was Christopher Bell that was able to hold on and pick up the inaugural Gateway VP Racing Fuels Gateway Dirt Nationals for the midgets in the Keith Coons entry. And once the races was over, we waited around and we caught up with Christopher Bell to talk about his first win under the dome.
Well, you told us earlier you wanted to be the first. You got the job done.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. It was unfortunate that the race couldn't go green and get a little bit more green flag racing without the restarts, but the restarts definitely made it really stressful for me because you can only give those guys, especially Larson and Tyler Courtney, you can only give them so many shots before they're going to get you. So very thankful to see that one in.
Yeah, I tell you what, you had to dodge some bullets. I tell you what, Courtney was right there, and Larson. It was a very interesting race. Wish we wouldn't have had some of them cautions, but
yeah, that's unfortunate. But it was a lot of fun, and man, just there was a bunch of different guys that had opportunities to get me under those restarts. So I just tried to mix it up and do something different.
All right, so you've won the Chili Bowl and many other things. Where's this one rank?
It's pretty cool. Being an inaugural winner is always really special.
And then after a little bit of track prep, then we had driver intros for the UMP Open Wheel Modified Division. And we've seen drivers like Jeffrey Ledford, Kyle Steffens, Nick Hoffman came out on his little scooter. But some of the ones that stole the show, Mike Harrison, 7-time UMP champ, he came out with his number 24 belt on and fired off his pistols. And then we seen Mike McKinney come out with his glitter bomb gun, which was pretty interesting. But stealing the show like always, the Herminator, Kenny Wallace, came out in the Ric Flair costume, did the dance and everything. So after we got cleaned up from the driver intros, the action on the track was hot. We seen Josh Harris, who had won a prelim the night before. He took off to an early race lead and led most of this thing as drivers like Nick Hoffman, Mike McKinney, and even the youngster Jeffrey Ledford. Give a shout out to him driving through the field and battling up there in the top 2 or 3 to the end. But the driver that started 12th, he came through the field. He's hard to beat on these little bull rings. Mike Harrison, Mr. 7-time champ, picked up what he said was the biggest win of his career on Saturday night under the dome, picking up the $10,000 payday. And after the races, we caught up with your modified feature winner, Mike Harrison.
I tell you what, Mike, you've won a lot of races in your career. Where does this one rank?
This one ranks right up there at the top. I mean, it's such a special deal, unique deal being here at the Dome. I mean, it's just special. I mean, what can you say? I mean, it's one of a kind. So close to home for me, only being 25 miles or so from here. It's really special.
I tell you what, right after you cross the finish line, social media started blowing up. They call you the GOAT. What does that make you think for everybody out to call you the GOAT?
Yeah, it's I've had an awesome career. I started in '95 and to be up in the 500 range, feature win range. I mean, it's special, and for people to call me that, I guess it means I've done something right in my career, I guess. I don't know what else to say. I don't like to I don't like to brag. I don't like to do, I don't like any of that stuff. I mean, I come here to do my job and win races, and that's what I come to do. And we didn't have the best of weekend. We kind of struggled all weekend, and we threw a little something at it tonight in the B main I mean, every time I was on the racetrack, really, I had a little something different, a little something different here or there on the car, and there was me and Donnie Jumper and all my guys and a couple other guys. We sat down in a trailer today. Jamie Lomax. There was a few of us that we kind of all sat down in the trailer today before the day started, and kind of put a game plan together of what we thought I needed and my car needed, and we kind of we put all that together, and we made our mind up what we was going to do. We did that. I went out and I ran the B main, and I was decent in the B main, but I still knew that I needed to be just a little bit better. So we kind of put our heads together again, me and Jumper and Jamie Lomax and my crew, and we decided what we needed to do and what we needed to take away from the car that we did for the first race. And I'll tell you what, it was beautiful out there. I mean, we made the right choices, and that's what mattered.
That's a wrap on the third annual VP Racing Fuels Gateway Dirt Nationals from St. Louis. What a weekend. Capacity crowd gets bigger every year. They open up the Top Bull. If you've never been to this event, next year you got to put it on your calendar. You got to go. There's no atmosphere like it in racing, and we can't wait to see what the dates will be for the 2019 edition of the VP Racing Fuels Gateway Dirt Nationals. All right, we're going to take a short break. When we come back for a commercial, we're going to take a look at the PRI trade show coming up this weekend in downtown Indianapolis.
Buramax is a St. Louis, Missouri-based industry leader in recreational vehicles and power products. Our focus on quality and safety makes our feature-rich products unmatched in terms of usability, ruggedness, and above all, enjoyment. Buramax mini bikes are the best way to get around the pit area at the Gateway Dirt Nationals in St. Louis. These electric mini bikes are the choice of many race fans, drivers, and even last year's winner Bobby Pierce used his Buramax during driver introductions. After getting around the dome, use it in 2019 at your local track or for recreational fun with the family. With our training wheels, even younger and beginner riders can join in on the fun. Visit Buramax.com or stop by our booth during the Gateway Dirt Nationals and see what bike fits your needs. Buramax, capable, reliable, and heaps of fun.
It's coming to a track near you in 2019. RPM Live, the only live and exclusive pre-race pit show with driver interviews and exclusive content on the biggest events in dirt racing. Stay tuned to RPM Networks for more details in the coming months. Be sure to visit our webpage at racingperformancemedia.com for all your racing news. You can also give us a follow on our Facebook and Twitter pages, where we bring live updates from the track and keep you informed on the late breaking news in the dirt racing world.
Welcome back once again to RPM Weekly, and this week the 2019 race season gets underway with the Performance Racing Industry Show in downtown Indianapolis. 3 days on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The whole racing world, from asphalt drivers, drag racing, dirt racing, anything you name it in racing, everyone will be downtown for the PRI trade show. There's going to be over 1,000 vendor booths to browse. Cars will be on display, and you just never know who you're going to run into at the Performance Racing Industry Show. Here at RPM, we will be live on Friday at the show. We're going to bring you schedule reveals, any driver interviews of people we might run into, any breaking news that we come across at the show. We're going to bring you all the news on Thursday from the PRI trade show. And one thing we're really excited about is those new schedule reveals. One thing that's always exciting about the PRI show, and around the PRI show we start to see the schedules revealed. We know the Lucas Oil Series, their schedule's already out for the dirt late models next year. One thing we're going to be looking for this year, we'll be hanging around that World Racing Group booth, as we'll be picking up those World Outlaw Sprint Car schedules, see where we're going to see some sprint car action in 2019, and we'll also be looking for that World of Outlaw late model schedule. We're going to find out where they're going to be going next year on the World of Outlaw late model tour. And also, I always like to pick up that USAC schedule, find out where those midgets and sprints are going to be, and Silver Crown cars are going to be in 2019. So we'll be looking at that schedule as well. And as well, we'll be looking for that Hell Tour schedule. We'll find out where those grueling races are going to be next year, as they usually race about 29 events over a 32-day period. So looking forward to finding out where the Summer Nationals are going to be next year. And we'll also be looking to meet up with Chris Tilley over there, find out where the Mars Series is going to go in 2019. So looking forward to that. And, of course, Ray Cook and the Schaefer Southern National Series, they always do their schedule reveal usually on a Friday over there at the PRI show. So we'll be looking for that Friday when we're over there. And I tell you what, a big weekend over there. Everything gets kicked off on Thursday. The doors open at 9 a.m., from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Thursday and Friday. And then on Saturday, things will open up at 9 a.m. and close at 4. So once again, the PRI show is a trade show event. It's not open to the general public, just to the racing community, media, and anyone in the racing world. So be sure to check out the RPM networks all weekend long, as we're going to bring you all the news from the PRI show. And we're going to take just a short break, and when we come back, we got a couple of interviews after we talk a little silly season. So right after this break, we're going to come back and talk about the late model silly season. You're listening to RPM Weekly. Market, connect, sell. The business of racing starts here. It's the 2018 PRI Trade Show in downtown Indianapolis, December 6th through the 8th. With over 1,100 vendor booths, you're sure to find what you're looking for in the racing industry. 2019 begins with the Performance Racing Industry Show, downtown Indianapolis, December 6th through the 8th. Be sure to visit performanceracing.com for all your show details. Also, be sure to download the PRI Show mobile app and start planning your show today. Find show floor maps, exhibits, and seminars that you want to attend. Once again, the PRI Trade Show 2018 in downtown Indianapolis. Welcome back to RPM Weekly. I'm your host, Tyson Graves, and it's time to talk silly season. I tell you what, one thing that has transpired over the last few years in the dirt late model world that we all look forward to is those silly season news that comes out with what driver is going to drive for who next year, who's out of this seat, who's going to that seat. And so far there has been a lot of action already in this late model silly season. So we're going to try to bring you up to date on what has happened. We're going to talk a little bit about the things that are in the works right now and a couple seats that have not been announced that we know that there's a vacancy there. And we're going to try to do our best to try to give you a good insight as to who might be going to those seats. And hopefully we'll find out and put all those puzzle pieces together after the PRI trade show this weekend. So it was about a month ago that the whole silly season got underway when we heard the big announcement that Bobby Pierce was going to leave the Dunn Benson seat. He went down there for 1 year at Dunn Benson. They won 4 Lucas Oil Late Model Series races this year, but Bobby Pierce made the announcement that he is going to come home and get behind the wheel of the family-owned Pierce car once again. I believe they'll be running a couple rockets. We'll see him out in Arizona next month in January, kicking off that new ride. Shortly after that, we seen that Casey Roberts got released from the Blunt Motorsports ride. Regional driver Casey Roberts. He did score a couple wins this year, including a $10,000 Southern National win this summer. So Casey Roberts out of the 101 car. And then we heard about Chris Madden. Chris Madden, who was really close to winning a World Outlaw Late Model Series title, ended up finishing 3rd. We found out that he's going to go and drive the Capitol House car this next year in a ride backed by the Iowa native Greg Buring. They're going to be running that car out of the Chris Madden shop, but it'll be backed by the Bruning operation up in Iowa with also the help from Capital Race Cars. But I think one of the biggest surprises we've seen was coming out of the World Outlaw champion Mike Marlar. We knew that the Ronnie Delk ride, that this was going to be his last year, didn't know where he was going to end up. But Kevin Rumley is going to get the number 6 back out, and he is going to drive the number 6 Rumley machine in 2019. Doesn't look like they're going to do a national tour or anything like that. Mainly going to do a lot of the big races in that, but Mike Marlar going to be behind the big number 6 Kevin Rumley entry in 2019. Also on the same day, we found out that Tanner English, the driver out of Benton, Kentucky, is going to go and drive for Randy Weaver in the number 116, the Fame 116 entry in 2019. Looks like they're going to start out a schedule. They're going to run Golden Isles and East Bay down in Georgia, Florida Speed Weeks, and then they'll go from there to decide what they are going to do. Things took a break for a day or two around Thanksgiving, and then after that, the big news came out that kind of shocked a lot of people. The new Waverly, Texas native Tyler Erb is going to go to the Best Motorsports number 1 taking Josh Richards' seat over there. Tyler Erb had a pretty successful year. He won feature events on the World Outlaw and the Lucas Tour in 2018. So big shout out Turbo getting the job done and going to be in that #1 best motorsports ride in 2019. And then we found out that Joey Coulter, the former NASCAR Truck Series driver who currently drives the #2 Rum Runner machine, Brandon Overton's going to take over that seat. And that team will debut out in Arizona. So Brandon Overton, a driver that won in several different machines last year for several different car owners, is going to be in the Rum Runner ride with a debut out at Arizona during the Wild West Shootout. So with Josh Richards out at Best Motorsports, it left us all wondering, where's Josh Richards going to go? Well, Josh Richards announced that he is going to go to the number 14 car fielded by Clint Boyer Racing. And that's going to knock Darrell Lanigan out. But Josh Richards is going to go drive for the Clint Boyer stable in 2019, and they will chase the Lucas Oil Late Model Series title. Okay, that left Lanigan out of a ride, so we find out that Lanigan's going to go back home, and he's going to drive the Club 29 car where he used to drive, and so he'll be behind that famed 29 that he won so many big events in his career. It's going to be the house car. Looks like they're going to run the World Outlaw Tour. It hasn't been set in stone yet, but that's what it looks like for 2019. And also that Club 29 brand kind of breaking away from Ronnie Stuckey. It was kind of the Club 29 Black Diamond in there together. But Stuckey's going to do his own thing, Black Diamond. And Lanigan will take control of that Club 29 organization. Another big news is Kyle Hardy, regional driver, finished second in the Ultimate Late Model Series this year. He's going to go and drive the Barry Wright house car on the World Outlaw Tour, we believe, in the 2019 season, taking over kind of the spot where Chris Madden was at. So Kyle Hardy, look for him on the World Outlaw Tour next year in 2019. So with all these announcements, we still got a couple of empty seats that everybody's wondering what's going to happen, who's going to go where. One of them is the Dunn Benson seat. That seat still has not been filled. There's been a lot of speculation. Early on, there was a lot of names like T-Mac that popped up, but looks like T-Mac's going to stay with the Longhorn house car in that Sweetener Plus 39 for 2019, so that kind of takes him out of the equation. We've heard names like Ricky Thornton Jr., the standout that filled in for Hudson O'Neal and finished really well in a couple races, including a win and a prelim at the World 100. We also possibly heard that there was a rumor that possibly Earl Pearson Jr. was going to go back and drive at Dunn Benson. I think he's pretty stuck in his ways and is going to stay down there with Stuckey in that Black Diamond car. But what about Devin Moran? There's been some speculations just of late the last few days that possibly Devin Moran will be taking that seat in the Dunn Benson ride. So maybe that's some news we'll hear this week at the PRI show. Once we hear that news, we'll let you know. But we got our money on Devin Moran going to take over that Dunn Benson ride in 2019. Another driver, and that's been in speculation that possibly Clint Boyer only going to run one team next year. If so, then we know Josh Richards has got the seat in the 14 car. That leaves the number 5 driver, Don O'Neill, with a place to. He's got to find a place to go. But there's been rumors around that he might go drive a Masters built chassis in 2019, maybe a Masters built house car. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. But we're going to put our money on that Don O'Neill is going to end up in a Masters built car next year. So. It's going to be interesting to find out. Like I said, once we hear the news at the PRI show or wherever, we'll get that information to you. Stay tuned to the RPM networks. Alrighty, we talked a little late model silly season. Who knows what else might happen? You never know what's going to happen during late model silly season. Alright, we're going to take a break, but when we come back, we're going to have the Mars Series director, Chris Tilley, on the phone with us. So we're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back with RPM Weekly.
It's here, the new and hottest growing media outlet in the Midwest, Racing Performance Media. With the best race reporters in the country, RPM wants to be your source for all your dirt racing updates. With live social media updates, pictures and interviews from the biggest races in the country, to in-depth results and race recaps on our website, RPM is your one-stop shop to satisfy your dirt racing cravings.
Welcome, race fans! I'm DRTOFF, but my friends call me Dirt Off because I'm formulated with DRT, Dirt Repellent Technology, which stops mud and stuff from sticking to me. Spray me on anything that you would like to stop dirt and mud from clinging to, and I'll make your cleanup so much easier. And we all know how hard it can be to get mud and gunk off. Spray me on all your racing parts, dirt cars, ATVs, motorcycles, mud trucks, even pulling tractors. Plus, you will love the way your pit area smells because of my fresh berry scent. You want to know where to find me? Just go to the DRTOFF Facebook page or your local Daytona 1 dealer. But if you're in a hurry, you can reach me at 270-213-0235.
Alrighty, welcome back to RPM Weekly. This is Tyson Graves, your host, and right now we're going to be caught up on the phone with Chris Tilley. He is the director of the Mars Late Model Series and also the Ironman Series and the Schaefer's Oil Southern National Series. So how's it going tonight, Chris?
Doing pretty good, Tyson. Thanks for having me on this evening.
All right, so how was your first year running the Mars Late Model Series here in 2018?
Well, I guess I could sum it up by saying it was very gratifying. We had a great 2018 season. I feel like it was we were very late getting started, so we were behind the eight ball all year long because I purchased the series so late, and it didn't happen until after the first year. I basically had about a month to schedule out, and the schedule together. I tell you what, dealt with some promoters this year. Just tickled to death. The Midwest is there. Some really great promoters, race car drivers, and fans up there. And it was just a great 2018 season. We're already working on 2019. I've been working on this in August and trying to get ready for next year. About the same amount of races and looking forward to a big season next year.
Yeah, I tell you what, you go back and look at the Mars Series, I believe you had 6 different winners this year. Of course, Tanner English won the title. You had an epic final lap there at Farmer City with Babb and Moyer. It was a close one for that $10,000 to win race. And then you got to see Belclair and Falls for the first time in your life.
Yeah, I did. I was impressed. I appreciate that Belclair doing a race with us last year. And the weather just wreaked havoc there the whole week leading into that event. And the track surface just they did all they could do with it, and it's just part of it sometimes. But we raced. We had a little turkey late models. I think 31 that night for a Friday night before we went to Fayette County, and I was extremely happy. And very good crew to deal with. We got to it, and I went to Fayette County. Got to know Charlie a little bit this year up there at Fayette County. Did a couple shows with him. And one of the nicest guys you'll meet around. And he mentioned Farmer City, just a great crew up there, and Falls especially. I loved it, and we're looking forward to going back to all those tracks next year.
In your career doing this, have you ever seen a race season with so many rainouts and rescheduled events? It seemed like every weekend we seem to be dealing with rain this year.
We have. It's been the worst, and I've been doing this over 25 years. It's been the worst season I can remember from weather related. I mean, it just seemed like we had great weather during the week, and when it comes to the weekend, it's just sour. And you just do what the good Lord gave you. If the good Lord wants you to race, you'll race. If you don't, you won't. I learned a long time ago there's no sense in being mad or upset. I know it's aggravating, but we just have no control of the weather, so we just have to try to do the best we can. I see so many people that said on the internet. There's really no cause for that. And promoters have to do what they have to do. And that's a business decision whether they run a race or cancel a race. And we do get aggravated that we have to make those kind of decisions, but at the same time, people just have to bear with everybody. I mean, it's possible. And weather can wreak havoc on an event with anything, I feel like. I think that the weather will be the top storyline of 2018. I know a lot of great things happened, some great champions out there, and it's a shame that weather kind of superseding all that, but that's kind of where it goes sometimes, and we just have to live with it.
Yeah, I tell you what, a lot of people can say things on social media and that, but You got sponsors involved. You got people that are traveling distances. You got the track prep. There's a lot that goes into it when you do have to call a race.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, we only lost. We lost our weekend in October at Ponderosa, but that was due to the rescheduling of World 100. So that was the reason we lost it. But Lake Cumberland stepped up, and we were able to do our finale weekend there and crown Tanner the champion. And we lost the Fairbury race in May on Mother's Day weekend, but we were able to reschedule it in August to go with our Tri-City and made it a 5 and a 10, which made it a great weekend. I appreciate Sunday for stepping up to the plate on that. Another great promoters to deal with down there at Tri-City. All of our promoters have just been awesome this year. I didn't realize, the South has got some great promoters, but the Midwest is top-notch as well. And, it's a pleasure doing business with these people. And, we were able to, I think when we lost, we won all year. I go back and look, but I think we got most of ours in, believe it or not.
All right, so kind of switch over. You also work with the Ironman and the Schaefer series. How did those series go this year? I mean, you had Casey Roberts won the Southern Nationals title, and David Payne just wrapped up the bonus series.
Yeah, and Eric Wells was our Spring Nationals champion. It was a pretty good. Weather was another factor on that for this year. So, but that aside, the points battle in the Southern Nationals was really tight. We had 10 or 12 guys go to every race in those 2 weeks span. And I know you guys covered that really well for us. That was good. The Ironman Modifiers has been a really kind of points battle all year. About 12 races on the schedule. We're looking at about 10 next year. I mean, $2,000 going to the champion for the Birchfield Performance Ironman Open Modified Series. That's pretty good for about a 10, 12 race schedule that spans all season. And we couldn't do it without our great sponsors. We've got sponsors. Schaefer's Oil, Brucefield, DirtOnDirt.com, you name it, AR Bodies, Ronald's Tire Chefs, American Race Tires, Who's Your Race Time, Midwest, Who's Your Tire Sale. Sponsors make the world go round, and that's what's helped us. And I feel like when I say gratifying, it's been a great 2018 season.
Alrighty, for some people that might not know Chris Tilley, where do you get your passion for racing and promoting the sport like you do?
Well, I started at a very, very young age working at my uncle's track. He bought Lake Cumberland Speedway there in the mid-'90s down at Lake Cumberland, Somerset, Kentucky, which is about 10 minutes from my house. And got started there and got started at the very bottom. I did everything from hot dogs to park cars to clean the bathrooms to work in the tower scoring. And I got to move to the tower. Scored a long time. Actually learned how to regular score. I know we've got collars, and you'll hear that in the sport sometimes. You got somebody writing it down. You got somebody calling it off to them. And I had to learn how to hand score and watch the race while doing it. So that was interesting and a lot of fun to learn how to do that. And then got to go to the announcer's booth and announce a few races. And I flagged and worked on the racetrack and moved it. So, and have had a couple of racetracks. Had Ponderosa Speedway this year, had it leased, and had a track at Barron County Speedway in Glasgow, Kentucky in 2003, and I was just 18-year-old at the time. And, I tell you what, you have to learn how to do every job at the racetrack. And I think that's what gave me the passion to do it. And, I love them. I love them races. And to watch them go around, there's nothing better than anything.
Yeah, Chris, I've gotten to know you a little bit over the last year, a little better, and I think it means a lot coming from where you did. You learn how to do all the different jobs, and so I think it makes you a better promoter and to run a series and all. You know what it takes, and you respect all the people that make it happen.
Well, it's a group effort. It's not Chris Tilley, and it's definitely everybody else. I mean, I give credit where it's due, and my crew, I couldn't do it without them. I feel like, and I guess everybody says it's not their own crew, but I feel like I got the best crew in the sport. Got a great announcer, PR director, Michael Spain, great pit officials, Tony Yates, Wayne Maybrad, and guys do the server and heaven over races with me. I mean, we travel all over and pick up track and trailer. And, it's kind of hard. I mean, we cut in, carry on, go down the road, harass each other, give each other a hard time at the hotels, and I mean, that's just part of the experience, but there's like a brotherhood doing it, and I couldn't do it without them guys. It's definitely nothing I've done. And, the Lord has blessed me very much. I mean, I have to say it, and it's nothing I've done. It's the Lord and the people you surround yourself with.
Amen to that. So you gave us a clue on social media that I think the schedule for the Mars and the Ironman events are pretty well about done for 2019.
Yeah, I've been working on them since August, Tyson, and trying to get them squared away. We're trying to put together a modified series for the Midwest next year for the Mars. To have a modified series to go with the late model. It's been slow going, but and the reason that I did that was had some promoters ask and some drivers said, "Hey, what's you doing a modified series? Everyone down south, it goes well." I fell into the top names of modified racing fans for the championship with the Ironman Open Wheel, Sean Flannery and Craig Miller, and then everybody on that schedule has been top notch. But I mean, I've got two of the top open wheel modified names vying for a championship, and we've gotten most of our dates in place, waiting on a few, just minor details. And the Mars schedule should be ready to come out at PRI. Hopefully it'll be basically what it was last year, with maybe another edition or two. Went to some great racetracks this year. Went to Bloomington Speedway this past year, and they had it was the first super race that's been run there in over 10 or 20 years. And we went to Bloomington, Indiana, and they want us back next year, and then they just changed hands over there, I reckon. So we're working with the new people there, and like I say, excited about what next year will bring. Hopefully we'll be able to announce a title sponsor in the next couple of weeks. I'm really excited about that. I've been working on that for the last few months for a title sponsor, and I think that would really help our series.
All right, we're definitely going to be looking forward at PRI to see what that Mars schedule is going to be. Also, I'm sure at PRI, you and Ray Cook's going to unveil the 2019 Schaefer's Oil Series schedule as well.
Yeah, we'll be unveiling it, the Spring Nationals, the Southern Nationals, and then the bonus series will cease to exist after this year. We'll be announcing the Fall National Series that will be coming out, and I think that's going to be exciting. And working with Ray, he's just been awesome. He's best family. I think it's been 11, 12 years I've worked with him, and his family, just super people. And Ray's like a dad to me. He really is like a brother, like a dad, and with him. And can't wait to see what 2019 brings. I think it's going to be another stellar year.
All right, so last year, we got any new rules going to come out? Last year we had the big droop rule that came out. Is there going to be any rule shake-up, or is it going to be pretty close to the same as what it was this year?
About the same. We don't foresee any major changes. We'll have to wait and see what the Mars deal, what UMP does. Naturally, we follow the UMP rule book, and we'll just have to wait and see with Sam and company if anything comes out. And we'll be following their lead on that to see what happens. And we've been in close contact with the UMP organization, and we don't foresee any major changes next year. So we'll get the word out to everybody and let them know.
All right, as you look back on 2018, what was one of your maybe some of your favorite memories from this past season?
Well, it sure wasn't the rain. It was easy there, in the rainouts. But making my first trip to Fairbury was something special. I told Matt Curl that the other day when we was talking on the phone. I said, when I pulled through the gate in August last year, it was my first time there, and it was an awesome experience. I went to Farmer City as well. We went there in May, and I'd been there before with the Outlaws when I helped them back in 2014 a little bit there. I was their interim PR director, and I actually went to Farmer City for the first time in 2014 and really enjoyed that. But the last lap pass was memorable there at Farmer City, as you mentioned before, with that passing Billy Moore coming out of turn 4. What an exciting show that was. And it was, like I say, looking back at 2018, I just think it was just a great season for the Mars, and hope to keep it going for many years to come. I don't plan on going anywhere.
All righty, well, this weekend you got the Leftover coming up at 411, and we wish you good luck with that this coming weekend. And we can't wait to see you at PRI when we get to see that Mars and Southern National schedules for next year.
Really appreciate that. Thanks for all you do cover our events, and we really appreciate that. Thanks for the
All righty, Chris. Well, we know you're busy. We appreciate you taking some time, and we'll meet up with you at PRI, and we'll help you spread them schedules around for next year.
Sounds good, man. We really appreciate you having us on tonight.
All righty. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
All righty. That was Chris Tilley, and we're going to take a short break, and we'll come back with RPM Weekly.
The Dirt Disciples for Christ mission is to reach out to America's youth with God's love and guidance. The youth will learn about Jesus Christ, how he died on the cross and rose again to give us eternal life. Here at Dirt Disciples for Christ, we focus on teaching the youth about Christ, while at the same time allowing them to be part of something larger than themselves, teaching responsibility, commitment, courage, confidence, determination, and teamwork. The lessons learned here can be applied to their everyday lives. From the joys of accomplishment and success to the disappointments of failure and setbacks of both life and racing, we teach that God will see us through all our trials and tribulation on and off the track. All of this is done by engaging them in building, maintaining, and crewing of a super late model dirt car. We hope you decide to join us as we are changing America's youth for Christ one lap at a time.
It's coming to a track near you in 2019. RPM Live, the only live and exclusive pre-race pit show with driver interviews and exclusive content on the biggest events in dirt racing. Stay tuned to RPM Networks for more details in the coming months. Be sure to visit our webpage at racingperformancemedia.com for all your racing news. You can also give us a follow on our Facebook and Twitter pages, where we bring live updates from the track and keep you informed on the late breaking news in the dirt racing world.
Alrighty, welcome back to RPM Weekly, and now we're going to be catching up with the new race director, Scott Davies of the Midwest Street Stock Championship. Jared Crick won the 2018 series title. It was the second year in a row. It was a great 2018 season, had 6 different winners in 11 events. We had seasoned veterans like Josh Griffith, Darrell Dick, Jeremy Nichols, and Jared Crick, and then you throw in all these new up-and-coming, like Rookie of the Year, Wayne Huffman III, and Attica, Indiana's Megan Irwin, who picked up 3 feature wins at Charleston this year, and then Tanner Sullivan also ran several events with the MSSC as well. So the 2019 season, we're working on a schedule for that. It's going to be interesting, but one of the big news in the off-season for the Midwest Street Stock Championship is Scott Davies is taking over as the race director, and we got him on the phone with us. How's it going tonight, Scott?
Oh, not too bad.
All right, so go ahead.
Just getting ready for PRI, and I head over there on Wednesday and try and make some rounds over there.
All righty, Scott. How did you get involved in racing? How did, as they say, racing get in your blood?
For me, it didn't start too young. I mean, it started when I was about 14, 15 years old. My brother bought a street stock and started racing around, like Danville, Boswell, Farmer City area. And I started going with him every, Friday, Saturday, sometimes Sundays, and it hooked me from there. I'd get off work on a Saturday at like 4 o'clock and drive over and watch the races and help him and do it all over again every week. Just like anybody, once you get going in it, it's fun, it's addicting almost, and gives you something to do and keeps you out of a lot of trouble, actually.
Yeah, like you said, as a teenager, you worked with your brother, but you also worked with some late model and modified programs. You ran with Richie Hedrick, who used to drive late models years ago, and also Jason Lakey on the modified side.
Yeah, I started helping Richie about my senior year in high school, and he was from Urbana. I grew up in Urbana, so we got introduced to each other, and it just was pretty easy. My brother had backed off of running street stocks about that time, so I started helping him, and him and I traveled around, and we went to probably 20, 30 different tracks in 4 or 5 different states for a couple years, and went to Florida a couple times, and met Jason Lakey through that, and around and like you meet everybody else, and helped him a little bit after that, and ended up getting married, and then I took a little break from working on cars.
Yeah, like you said it. I think it was about 22 years old you got married. A lot of people might not know you're married to Snooky Dim's daughter, who just retired from racing last year, and also I think shortly after that time you started working some for UMP.
Yeah, ex-wife, and she was Snook's daughter and Lance's sister, and we had mutual friends and whatnot. But then I started working for UMP as a tech director for a couple years, doing anything from summer nationals to the street stocks, and about every class. This was about probably a year into, or a couple years into, when UMP had added the street stocks and all the other classes, so they were expanding. And I had some general knowledge of it, and Sam and I worked together, and it seemed to be pretty good. We kind of tried to get them corralled in since it was all new, and get everybody kind of going towards the same base rule set and whatnot, and that just really expanded my knowledge, and your friend base and your Rolodex of people just keeps growing from there. So.
Alrighty, for those just joining us, we're on the phone with Scott Davies, the new series race director over at the Midwest Street Stock Championship. After you kind of got out of the UMP deal, you started working and doing some graphic stuff. First, you started Fusion Graphics in 2009 as a side business. How did you kind of get involved with the graphics business?
Well, I had started working for UMP, and that was when wraps were just starting to come out, and they were they were only probably a year or two into it, and I liked the way of it, and I've always had a kind of a creative eye. So me and my family we talked about it, and we looked into a printer and all the stuff it would take, and so we just went ahead and jumped in and said, you know what, let's try it. There was only like one other company in the area, and they weren't too close, so we went ahead and just tried to get into it. I bought all the stuff. I'd never designed a car, never looked at it, just kind of what I looked at and what I thought would look good. And I was back in 2009, and I did my first 3 cars in 2009. That's all I did. I did Jason Lakey's, Richie Hendricks, and Lance Dame's cars. And then from there, it grew and grew. I think my busiest year, come a couple years later, I did like 82 wraps that year. And it's kind of an up and down thing. I've had full-time jobs and tried to do this on the side until a couple years ago when I switched over to Phenom Apparel and bought t-shirt equipment and embroidery machine and decided to give it a full-time go, and it's worked out pretty good so far. Always expanding, always trying to grow more and get more business, and how that goes, trying to just expand and meet as many people as you can.
Yeah, I know you've done a lot of work, especially this last year. You did the wraps for Dunn Benson, and there's a lot of other great teams that you've did some work for. So your business really is expanding there.
Yeah, for sure. I think my first touring driver was Dennis Erb back in 2011, 12, and 13. I think I worked with him, and I've always known Dennis through Richie and all that stuff. So once I started doing it and proved that I could keep up with the demand of what a full-time touring series driver needed, we worked out a deal, and I worked with him for 2 or 3 years and on his wraps and stuff. And then the Dunn Benson deal came apart last year, which was really nice. Got a call from Angie Pierce, and they were in a tight spot and needed something for PRI, and I was able to help them out, which led to getting that Dunn Benson deal, which is awful nice. So you just got to kind of be at the right place at the right time sometimes, and try not to make as many enemies as friends. You try to keep it pretty even. I mean, it's up and down business with, you're dealing with all sorts of personalities and just different guys like that. So you got to almost be kind of a politician. I think that's what leads into the race director stuff with the Street Stock Series with me, is you try to keep everybody happy, even if you disagree with what they're saying or how they want to do stuff. You got to kind of flirt that fine line of stuff.
Yeah, so in the past couple weeks here at the Midwest Street Stock Championship Banquet, you were announced that you are going to take over as race director for one of the founders of the series, Greg Osmond, in 2019. How did this whole thing come about, and tell us a little bit about your past experience in this area?
I've known Greg and Tony for probably 4 or 5 years. I've done wraps for Greg on his street stock back when he first started racing, I think, or a couple years after that. And I've done some stuff for Tony for his dad's race when it was at Kankakee before. And I saw them, they had posted they were looking for a race director, and I went ahead and called Greg and talked to him about it, and figured out we could work out a pretty good deal and that I would be a pretty good fit for it. It kind of goes hand in hand with the graphic side of stuff, just because your number one job when you're when you're a race director is dealing with the customers and dealing with the drivers. So you gotta kind of keep everybody as a friends, but keep them at arm's length so that you can make a judgment call and it not be a personal one, it more be a professional one. So.
Okay. What are some things that we might see different as we go into the 2019 season for the Midwest Street Stock Championship? And you think some of your past experiences from being around racing and as far as working for UMP make you a good fit for this position?
Yeah, some of the new stuff that we're going to do this year is normally they run they qualify, they run their heat races, then they would run a dash of the heat winners or the top two in the heat, and then the feature from there. So what we're trying to do is maybe shorten the program a little bit and have less races, because when you go to most of these tracks and fans in the stands and stuff, they all want it to be done as quick as possible, but you got to put on the best show. So we're going to cut out the dash, and we're going to go to a Lock 8 heat format. So basically, all the cars will get there and qualify. Let's say there's 22 cars there. Everybody will qualify 1 or 2 laps depending on the track and what we have time for. And then the fastest 8 qualifiers will lock into one heat, and then the 9th fastest guy will start on the pole of heat 1. So what that'll do is the top 8 cars who all run a heat race together will start in the front 8 spots of the feature, how they finish that heat race. So basically what we're trying to do is get your fastest 8 cars are all going to be in one heat, and then your second, after that, you will all be in one heat. So you should have a little bit more competitive heat races from top to bottom, instead of having, the 1 or 2 guys run away and be a straightaway ahead. And with street stock, there's usually a bigger discrepancy through the field. So we're trying to narrow that up and maybe put on better heat races and stuff for the fans. And then you also would have your 8 fastest cars will start up front in the feature and try to battle it out with each other. So I would say you might see a few fireworks, since these guys are going to be racing with each other in the heats and in the features pretty much every night. But I think it's going to lead to better racing and better off-track fun for the fans. I've been to about every racetrack in Illinois and around the Midwest, and I've noticed, different ways tracks run stuff with the way they qualify. I just kind of keep that in my mind as I'm watching stuff, or as a fan in the stands or in the pits, or when I was working for UMP. So I've tried to bring that knowledge and that Rolodex of information I have to this series, and we're just going to try to make it the best series we can. We'd like to try to push, and right now we're going to try to push for more full-time drivers. We've only had 1 or 2 full-time drivers throughout the first couple of years, so we'd like to try to push to get 8, 9, or 10 guys or girls to run full-time with us, and maybe get the points races to be where there's a nice points battle when it comes down to the end of the season. So.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's been really a pretty successful 2 years for the Midwest Street Stock Championship. Me as an announcer for the series, I got to see it firsthand this past year, but we got some great race car drivers, and we have some great battles every night. We're anxious to see the 2019 season to be completed as far as the schedule. We know that we're going to go back to Joliet at the Dirt Oval during the Summer Nationals, and we'll be at Farmer City again for the What Up Dog, that race this year went 40 laps green flag. It was pretty amazing. And then the season will get underway at Lincoln in April with the Rail Splitter 40. Well, we thank you, Scott, for taking a few moments with us, and we wish you all the luck in 2019.
No problem. Thanks for having me on, and it's been a pleasure.
All righty, when we come back, we're going to finish up our podcast here with episode number 2, and we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Buramax is a St. Louis, Missouri-based industry leader in recreational vehicles and power products. Our focus on quality and safety makes our feature-rich products unmatched in terms of usability, ruggedness, and above all, enjoyment. Buramax mini bikes are the best way to get around the pit area at the Gateway Dirt Nationals in St. Louis. These electric mini bikes are the choice of many race fans, drivers, and even last year's winner Bobby Pierce used his Burromax during driver introductions. After getting around the dome, use it in 2019 at your local track or for recreational fun with the family. With our training wheels, even younger and beginner riders can join in on the fun. Visit Burromax.com or stop by our booth during the Gateway Dirt Nationals and see what bike fits your needs. Burromax. Capable, reliable, and heaps of fun.
Market, connect, sell. The business of racing starts here. It's the 2018 PRI Trade Show in downtown Indianapolis, December 6th through the 8th. With over 1,100 vendor booths, you're sure to find what you're looking for in the racing industry. 2019 begins with the Performance Racing Industry Show, downtown Indianapolis, December 6th through the 8th. Be sure to visit performanceracing.com for all your show details. Also, be sure to download the PRI Show mobile app and start planning your show today. Find show floor maps, exhibits, and seminars that you want to attend. Once again, the PRI Trade Show 2018 in downtown Indianapolis. Welcome back to RPM Weekly. Wow, what a show we've had tonight, action-packed as we look back at the Gateway Dirt Nationals from this past weekend in St. Louis. We talked with Chris Tilley about the Mars Series. We talked a little silly season, and we also caught up with Scott Davies from the Midwest Street Stock Championship. We got to give a shout out to a couple of our sponsors. We want to thank Burromax, the little mini bike company out of St. Louis. Go check out their website, burromax.com. They got brand new 750 model bikes that are nearly 30 miles an hour, and the batteries last a little longer, so go check them out, Burromax. And also our friends over at Dirt Off. Daytona 1 product, Dirt Off. Use it in the pit area, help keep that dirt off of your race car. Make sure you stop by the Renegade Race Fuels booth and check out that new product, Dirt Off. Alrighty, we're going to take a couple weeks off from RPM Weekly as we have our holiday break, but when we come back in January, we're going to bring you a preview to the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals. We'll look to see if the last couple years stars like Rico Abreu or Christopher Bell can pull off another Chili Bowl title. And we'll also preview the Wild West Shootout, the Kaiser Manufacturing Wild West Shootout out in Arizona. Some big names going to go out west this year. Bloomquist has done put his name in the hat. Hudson O'Neal will be returning after that shoulder surgery. Bobby Pierce in that family-owned rocket car will be out there. And Brandon Overton in his new Rum Runner ride. He'll be going out there as well to participate in the Kaiser Manufacturing Wild West Shootout. And remember, those big money bonuses on the line if you can win multiple nights, or over $250,000 bonus if you can win the whole thing. So be interesting to see what happens out in Arizona. Everyone from RPM wants to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll see you all when we come back after the holidays, and good night.